First of all, let me thanks to Mangesh sir. Actually, I am not a doctor, and in the medical fraternity, I am a student of computer science. Trying to collaborate this AI technologies or AI era with this medical fraternity. I'll be talking on this Buddhism and digital age. Rather, I would say that we are living in the era of era of artificial intelligence, and we are evident that minds are intelligence artificially. Many minds are going to develop their intelligence artificially, and we have to find out the solution to this intelligence which is developing artificially with the artificial wisdom, and therefore there is a symbol. A robot is meditating, and this is what, in this way, this is what the solution for the futures to come. A book is recently came into exist in market called Digital Singularity is Nearer by Rakesh, claims that in 2045 that everything will be changed, and we are talking about the signing India in 2047. The change is going to happen before 2 years, 2025, that he is claiming, Rakesh is claiming is in the book Singularity is Nearer. So based on this, that where we are trying to deal with this artificial intelligence, I will be talking on these 3 points, where what work we have carried out as a research in our lab, Abhidhamma based cognitive design, that we have designed a computational model. As we are known that there are 6 senses, and we have applied only 1 sense to get this model executed, to get this model implemented. And then if this is a processing, I will be talking on this current and futuristic AI, where that will be focusing on the digital caste system. And Mangesh sir has delivered one lecture on understanding Buddhism through symbols, and I was so impressed and found some avenues, research avenues in this in that domain, and found about 10 different topics on the symbolism in the era of Ashtikian and Brahmi script. So I will be focusing on that 2-3 slides on that that particular topic. Before starting this, where we have worked on some glimpses of Abhidhamma. Actually, I am not a scholar, Abhidhamma scholar. I have studied some logic, like Sadaitan and the Chatuskoti, these logics, and tried to implement that these logics can be converted in the computational logic. So I found that the Chatuskoti tetralemma, or what we call the fourfold logical system or logical framework, Chatuskoti, in fact, if you are comparing, I am not going to compare because these 2 things are contradictory, Chatuskoti and prepositional logic. But then, when in general, when at the broader level, if I am trying to compare this Chatuskoti with the propositional logic, then I get something which can be implemented computationally, which can be converted as a computational model, which can be converted as an AI tool. And therefore, we have applied this Chatuskuti as a basic knowledge, like one more there, that is Sadaitan, that 6 senses and their faculties, their relevant faculties, like eye is a sense, and eye is a sensible organ, and its faculty is seeing. Likewise, we are having mind as a sense or sensible organ, and intelligence, as Dr. Khobragade just elaborated these all things. Intelligence is a faculty of mind. So we have tried to apply these senses to convert it into computational model or AI tool. And when we are comparing this Chatuskuti basically brought to us by great philosopher Nagarjuna. And this prepositional logic is developed by the basic Aristotle logic. And if we see towards the history of this, both the logic, that Aristotle logic is in the 300 BC, and Chatuskuti came into exist. Basically, it was the Buddhist logic, but it came to the picture in 2000 AD, 200 AD. So, in fact, if you see that the Chatuskuti came after prepositional logic, but its concept was laid in late 500 BC, and therefore this becomes a guide, this becomes a master to this prepositional logic. Now this logic is converted into Boolean logic and these another logics in the 19th century, in the 2000th century, but then its history is laid before 2500 years back. Both exist and does not exist, true and false, or true and false, both are there in the Chatuskuti, both logic, and neither exists nor does not exist. And if you see towards the truth table in the prepositional logic, if we are applying and or operator, so or operator gives that neither in the first row, that 0 0 becomes 0. If we are considering y as a x, see these technical things I should not talk, but y is equals to x. So x here in tetralemma, x is the inputs over here, x is exist or not exist, where that a and b equals to y is equals to x, and it gives one, means if it is neither exists nor does not exist, gives 0, and rest of the rows showing result as 1. There is something, and this talks towards the eternalism, Nityavad, or nihilism, Shunyavad. So that both the things are there in the binary logic or the crisp logic or the prepositional logic. They are promoting eternalism or nihilism, whereas it is giving in the Chatuskuti and in tetralemma logic or in the 4-4 logical framework, it is paradoxical concept actually. So we are, means it is not supporting that nihilism and the eternalism, where it is covering both. So that becomes paradoxical, and this particular logic we applied on our work, or what you call making a computational model based on the Abhidhamma, and our target was the notion of consciousness, moment, mental factor, and cognitive unit is introduced in the Abhidhamma, and that we pick up what consciousness and mental factor classification. So basically, I will not go in the detail, because there are 14 features that we identified, and that 14 features are classified for the classification of consciousness and mental factor classification. That 89 consciousness features are there, and 52, as Dr. Saab told us, 89 consciousness features and 52 mental factor. So that can be classified in the wholesome thought, unwholesome thought, functional and the reactive. These are the consciousness classes or consciousness features, and then we are having mental factors of 52 types. Some of them are beautiful thoughts, beautiful mental factors, some of them are unwholesome, and some of them are the variably intense what we call mental factors. Okay, so that can be classified based on these 14 features or 14 steps of the consciousness. As Dr. Saab told, these all things rebirth to identifying the different stages of the mental factor and the consciousness, where we have worked on. We have tried to design this Abhidhamma model in the cognitive design, and this particular classification and classification of consciousness and a consciousness, I would say that these are the thoughts and generation of thoughts, and the mental factors, or it is chetasikas, chitta and chetasikas. Consciousness is chitta and chetasika are mental factors, and chetasikas are, as Abhidhamma says, chetasikas are of 52 types, and chetas or chittas are of 89 times. Maybe it is extended up to certain level. If we go beyond that, studying this Abhidhamma, it goes to 121 types. Maybe Dr. Saab will correct me, or the scholars of Abhidhamma will correct me, that it extends to 121 types of consciousness. But for the sake of our model design, we considered 89 types of consciousness. Okay. So that consciousness are divided into 4 classes or 4 categories, that are wholesome, what you call the wholesome consciousness or kushal consciousness or kushal thought, unwholesome consciousness or unwholesome thoughts, or akushal thought, like we are known akushal. Kushal kya hai to we should think positively. Okay, empathy, sympathy, these all things should come under the wholesome thought. Then unwholesome, what is that? Hatred, and these unwholesome thought, जो अकुशल thoughts है वो है. And then the functional, and functional is kriya, functional is action, and then we are having resultant thought, that comes into action and result. So these thoughts will be categorized with 89 types of consciousness, and we are having classification of mental factors that are divided into 3 categories, that are wholesome, unwholesome mental factors, Shobhana mental factors or the wholesome mental factors, and then ethically variable mental factors, or what we call the ethically, means we can have ethically and unethically, that comes under the Shobhana or unwholesome thoughts. Okay. So basically these are wholesome or unwholesome conscious or thoughts or mental factors are treated to be the features as an input to the system, which will develop a model for generation of the thought and deciding whether these thoughts are unwholesome, wholesome, functional or resultant. Okay. So this we have tried with a GRAB model. GRAB is a model which is designed by one of my PhD students, Dr. Sanjay Garde and me, and the name is given Garde Ramteke Abhidhamma based thought model, which is patented internationally and nationally also in 2022. And there are 3 phases when it is patented, that is understanding phase, thought generation or consciousness phase, and action selection phase. Like we are having generation of thought, understanding the thought, then the thought generation and the action based on the thought. These are three phases and three different modules we have designed. This is first, like we are having 14 steps, of which first and second phase is taken from memory processing unit. Third steps is an input, that which if you look at these steps, if you look at the steps, rebirth, stream of being, kutti or disease, turning towards, seeing, hearing, these are the faculties of our sensible organs, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and then these all faculties gives us an input, and then we are receiving or processing, investigating, determining, apperception, and registration and identifying. When we reach to identifying, we come to the conclusion whether the thought is wholesome, thought is unwholesome, functional or actional. Okay. So here we tried to design that model. In the third step, that was input, that is all sensible organs and their faculties was given as an output. Step 9 and 10 is used for what we call is a pre-processing. Here we have used natural language processing to register this all inputs which was given in the third step. And if you see towards this area is a algorithm which was designed and this is patented. And this symbolism also we have designed, and it has got the copyright also. This is second phase called consciousness phase, where we have applied another steps like determining, appreciation and registering or identifying that particular thoughts or that particular inputs which was given from that 5 to 9, seeing, tasting, smelling. Okay, these were the input, and it goes as a result, it goes to the thought generation, or we can call it is a second phase or consciousness phase. Then the third or the last phase, the thought generation, is later classified with the help of one AI tool. I would say that is cognitive or the convolution neural network, CNN, and it gives two types of categorized output. One is consciousness or the thought generation, and another one gives us the mental factor. And then that mental factor categories is further divided into three classes, that are wholesome or the good or the kushal thought or kushal mental factor, unwholesome, that is a kushal mental factor, and the intentional variable or what you call ethical variable category, where there are some intentions in ethical variable to get that particular output. And in cognition or in the consciousness way, that we are having four classes: wholesome thought, unwholesome thought, functional and resultant thought. Okay. So these three types of models we have designed to generation of the thought or the consciousness phase and to get the mental factor classification. This was experimental setup, and this was the result or to design. Basically, this is some kind of technical things that I think I should not discuss this technical thing. So this model was designed, and now as we are living in the era or in the era of information, artificial intelligence, as Mangesh sir has delivered that lecture, and since that when I was attending that lecture, and since that my mind was roaming in that domain, and I searched different inputs for the research on the Ashokian lipi or Ashokian script or Brahmi script or Maurya script, their symbols. I found about 20 different topics on that. I shared with Mangesh sir, and right now, this will be my direction now for the further research. But before that, where we stands now in this particular in this particular era, yeah, for this research there are some limitations where I use only images, and our eyes faculty or seeing faculty, eye sense is used only. So we have remaining 5 senses to work on. So there is a scope to work on remaining 5 senses, right from mind to this hearing, smelling, tasting. These senses can be applied for getting a proper wholesome thought and applying the intelligence faculty on the mind so that it can generate the wholesome thought rather than unwholesome and other thoughts. Okay. So this is one limitation for this. One more thing, this slide I would like to share. Now we are having this class or Varna system, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and untouchable, which are not in the Varna system. Friends, as I was studying that Ray Kurzweil book, that singularity is nearer, and I came into conclusion that this system in Indian scenario, this system will come into exist. But what was the limitations in the traditional or in the conventional Varna system? Transcending one class to another class was not possible. It is highly impossible. But if you compare to the digital device system, what will be that digital device system? This Brahminism or the first Varna, where in the coming era, what will be the parallelism or parallel people? They will be coders, AI researchers, data scientists. This will be the nearer future. For Kshatriya, who are the warriors and rulers, will be replaced, or I would not say replace, it's a parallel process now. Tech CEOs, policymakers, cyber security forces will be working in the parallel positions like Kshatriya. Vaishyas, digital entrepreneur, influencer, e-commerce. Influencer, who are influencer? YouTubers like Dhruv Rathi, and these are the influencers. So they will be coming in the category of Vaishya. And Shudras, gig workers, call centers employees, low skilled IT, like the Uber or Ola drivers, they are using just the algorithms. Okay. And the untouchable or digitally disconnected people, those who are unknown to these all kind of technology techniques. But now here, there is no limitations, no barriers, that we can move from one class to another class. And this is just a possibility for we people, that we can jump from last to first. Okay? So this is an opportunity, same is a challenge, and we have to grab it. Coming to this 2-3 slide I will show, because this is long way to go, means now we can grab these opportunities, we can make this research as an opportunity. What we can do with this symbolism in the Ashokian era, or in the Brahmi script, or in the Maurya script, or the Ashokian edicts, what we can do with these all things, which will boost, which will make our culture so rich, if we do some research in this particular domain. So there is a script recognition, Brahmi script recognition and transliteration, conversion of Brahmi script into our Hindi or English or other scripts. Okay. Then there are I have some tools, and what are expected outcome, that a digital tool to convert Brahmi to modern script. Then accessible Brahmi document archives, And we can make the ready digital corpora for encryptions. We can go for applying natural language processing for semantic interpretation of Ashokan edicts. Shilalekh hai, their writings, their letters. One can make or one can preserve these all things, and we can apply this in natural language processing. Chronological evaluation of Mauryan symbols, different symbols, as we are aware of these different symbols, Buddhist symbols. So we can preserve that symbols. Then geospatial mapping of Ashokan encryption. This is another topic. Symbolic analysis of Dhammachakra. What can be as an output, categorization of Dhammachakra's styles, digital catalog of Dhammachakra usage. This is very important topic of nearest future, emotional sentiment analysis of Ashokan edicts. Friends, Ashokan edicts, Ashokan writings, Ashokan letters, the letters in that particular era, what that era wanted to say, what wanted to convey the message with their edicts, and what was the sentiments at that time can be analyzed to this time, and this may be a research of history and AI tools. So this is another scope, another opportunity of the research for this this sentiment analysis of Ashokan edicts. Cultural influence prediction using Ashokan symbol diffusion. This is another scope for the research. Cultural diffusion map of Ashokan era influence may be the output from this particular research. This was from my side for today. I say thank you, and class, I wish you the best for बुद्ध पौर्णिमेच्या हार्दिक शुभेच्छा सर्वांना. जय भीम, नमो बुद्धाय, धन्यवाद.